What do you guys know about the blood-sipping weirdos?
Smoke.
I'm on live right now.
And you're smoking.
Give a fuck. It's all about them blood-sipping weirdos. Blood-sipping weirdos. You know, Freemasons, Medewin, any degree-based society, secret society. All these, you know, tribes with all these spiritual healers. They're all blood sippers. You know? That's what they are. That's how they get them gifts. They drink heart blood. Sell their soul to Satan. You know? It's all about the blood-sipping weirdos. They traffic children for the occult and the Epstein files, or for the elite, or whatever you want to call these nasty fuckers who are fucking and eating our children. I mean, you know, you gotta think, if they're eating our children, they ain't human. We got fallen angels monkeying with humanity. And all these secret societies. You guys gotta wake up. And the reason for this ridiculous hat is I don't have no purpose to wear it. The only purpose is to mock all these guys saying I've gone crazy. You know? I'm mocking everybody. And I'm going around and I keep talking about what I talk about, you know? Our world is ran by pedophiles. You know? Governments trafficking their children, all these country leaders, you know, preying on our children. And everybody's ignoring it. I don't understand it. Everybody wanted to say I was crazy. So yeah, I started thinking, well, you know, I ain't getting nowhere trying to fucking talk to people normal, so here, let's put this on. But yeah, stop the massive satanic human trafficking network operated by Freemasons, degree-based societies, proudly owned by Donald Trump, president, aka Shitnose, aka the devil, Satan. Because you gotta think, man, he's the 45th and 47th president as well. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11. Revelation 9:11 says, and they had a king over them who was the angel of the bottomless pit. In Hebrew, whose name is Abaddon. In Greek, it's Apollyon. Okay, now Abaddon, Abaddon. Split that in 3 words, Abaddon. Revelation 13. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. But the deadly wound was healed. All the world marveled and followed the beast. See, they all said he was saved by God to save the world. And then you guys find out he's all over these Epstein files. And then we start finding more out about these occults. Occults are everywhere. And they're nasty. They drink blood. I mean, how crazy is that? They fuck with people, you know? But anyway, everything you know about history is a lie. About our people, our indigenous people, about all races. Everything everyone knows about their past, basically a lie. About their history, you know? These occults and these indigenous communities, they really did a number on these on indigenous people, on my indigenous people, man. You know, I believed in them ceremonies at one point, you know, like these ones they have or whatever. Not the actual Maday ceremony where they go get initiated. That's the one where they drink the blood and get the gifts to do, or the powers, I should say, to do the ceremonies they do. And then with these Freemasons, it's just like they're all in power and they all got, you know, they're all set, and I don't know. It's really complex. It is. It's really complex. It took, you know, I've been looking into this for over a year. I found out over a year ago that they were drinking indigenous heart blood. It's been over a year. I found out that indigenous peoples are the true chosen people, you know. And that's the thing with Jesus. He was an indigenous man, you know. Indigenous. And that's why they target indigenous people so highly, is because they're the closest to the blood of Christ. That's where that concept comes from in them churches too, by the way, is these societies drinking that heart blood, you know. Because there's something about indigenous, like I said, we're the true chosen people from the Bible. They covered a lot up, you know, but anyway, yeah. In the initiations of all these occults, they drink indigenous heart blood. Indigenous. You know, because they're the chosen. It's the closest thing to the blood of Christ, and it's the best way to fucking do the contract with Satan or whatever. I've been looking into this a lot. I've been praying on it. You know, that's why I wish people would listen to me, because you know, in the beginning, that's all I went off of was my visions and everything, trying to tell people. But during that, I got, you know, more and more stuff that come to me. You know, these people threatening me, and I saved all that. And then all of them talking shit to me, I screenshot all that. You know, and I try to help people identify the psychological bullying that they do. And they still can't understand it. People still can't understand the game they play. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and talk about that. Everything you guys know about history is a lie, you know, everywhere. You know, this whole thing with the Middle East war, you know, that's just all a big psyop. They're killing a bunch of people all just because. You're fighting a war for nothing. That's what it is, you know, and that's what all the other wars were, you know. The devil is a lie, you guys. We got fallen angels monkeying with humanity, though, pretty bad. You guys got to understand that, man. The devil's a lie. You know, and when I started all this shit, it's like I said, man, I tried to tell people, and they all, oh, you're crazy. I end up in the nut house a couple times. The second time I actually put myself there, like, not put myself there, but I acted out to get put there. And I was going to go in there and do some rugged shit, you know, like I did some rugged shit in the jail because they put me in a holding cell for 4 days. So I shit all over their walls, wrote Freemason blood sipping weirdos all over for 3-4 days, you know. Then I went to that place, and I don't know, I had a change of heart because everybody was so nice there. But yeah. Everything about our history as indigenous people is not true. This whole 7 teachings thing, that's not true. You know, with Medewin, they sacrifice children, and they get the blood from the Vatican. I don't know how they do it, but that's how they do it. To keep it more underground, more secret. But anyway, from first degree, first degree initiation of a day when they drink 7-year-old heart blood. And then it goes all the way up to 8th degree where it's a newborn. And the thing with that is that's where that 7 teachings comes from. Where that, you know, you got to look at everything, the way of life. But anyway, with Freemasons, they are from first degree. It would be a 32-year-old indigenous person. You know, they sacrifice and remove the heart, drink, you know, strain the blood and drink it out of a skull cap. And this is true. It really is. You know, that's how they get their contract to Satan or whatever. That's how, you know, and then, I don't know. In this kind of world, that's how all these guys are getting all these followers and getting richer or whatever, you know, getting all wealth, good wealth. That's where it comes from. It's not coming from God. It doesn't come from God. It comes from Satan because they sold their soul to the devil to make sure that they're always, you know, good in this realm, because Satan owns this realm. Or he doesn't own it, but he rules over it. Not for long, but anyway, from first degree Freemason, 32-year-old, second degree, 31, you know, as you go all the way up to 33rd degree, which is a newborn sacrifice. And the thing with that is they skip degrees too once they're at a certain point. But that's a lot of blood drinking if you think of it. Holy fuck. But anyway, yeah. Hey, all these churches are a lie. You know, churches, everything. It's all a lie. But if you think of it too, like the number of degree that they initiate in and the age of the person they kill and sacrifice and get the heart blood from, that adds up to 33. And you got to remember, Freemasons are all about numbers and symbolism and all that shit. You know, weirdos. Blood drinking weirdos. Blood sipping weirdos. That's what I call all these occults. I mean, you know, and then I got these fake accounts hitting me up, like, you know, threatening me and saying this and that. And, like, I keep all of that, and I keep track of all that. I don't just go off of nothing. You know, I'm not crazy like they say. I don't hear voices. I don't see things that ain't there. You know, I have conscious visions through consciousness. And I dream. And I pray and ask for signs when I pray for answers. And I get them signs. You know, that's what I base everything on. You know. I rely on God. I mean, you know, I do. But anyway, Donald Trump is Satan. He runs all these satanic human trafficking networks all around the world. Because we're not on a globe, we're on a flat earth anyway. But anyway, it's bad. You know. And I sit here and I'm like, yeah, I had to put this on because it's not because of the stupid conspiracies about, you know, mind control and shit, which is real. I just did it to mock people. That's what this is for. Mock them. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and talk shit and share a little bit. You know, you could hear my story through all my videos, but it's just gonna take time. That's why I always encourage people, you know, even though they don't want to hear, listen to my story, come see me. I'm always willing to share everything, you know. Or if I get enough people that ask to make a video, which I don't get none of that, you know, I make these videos anyways just because, you know, because I want to get it out. But anyway, I just want to come on here and talk shit, and talk, and share knowledge, true knowledge, the truth. stop these blood-sipping weirdos. They're all blood sippers. Anyway, stop the massive satanic human trafficking network operated by Freemasons and degree-based societies, proudly owned by Donald Trump, President of the United States, aka pedophile of the United States, aka Satan, aka shitnose. Have a good day.